at least to begin with, just start with the one that appeals to you the most. Like I know, like I think LinkedIn, which we'll get onto as well, should be a bottom line for all of you guys. But if you're like a lot more, like I love Instagram. I'm more of an Instagram person than a Facebook person. I have them all, but like I generally gravitate to Instagram. So that is the one that shows me in my best light because I just know how to work it. I like doing it. And often your audience, like they're the same as you. They replicate across all the platforms as well. So at least if you like really own it in one area, you'll be able to do it in the rest. So yeah. Develop a rough content plan. So this is regardless of any platform. We've spoken about how regularity is important. But yeah, basically it's a way that you can really become a trusted advisor. It's actually quite magical because literally if you tell someone something on social media, it's almost fact, which is kind of scary as well, but it's like it works in your favor. So one way that I try to think about it is you don't want to be sending one type of content the whole time. So we've spoken about articles, but you want to mix it up a little bit. So maybe come up with some like headings in your terms that you might do like 3 times a week. So here, you know, you might have one post that provides value to people. And that, you know, nothing that is required of them. So it might be like, I've got 3 tips on how to declutter your commercial property, or a way to go to the council and get parking, or you know, 3 things that you can offer for free. Another one would be, you know, something that encourages engagement. So maybe you'll throw out a question to people. It might be like, you know, something that we do very well here visually is like, which of these do you prefer? Just something really easy that customers can engage, people can engage with and feel a part of things. And maybe something that builds trust. So maybe you'll have a post every week that speaks to your reputation, or it might be some, you know, a knowledge expert video that, you know, you throw up a video every week that talks about, you know, from your professional basis that, you know, can show people that, oh, this is somebody that I would trust. So it's good to have that in your head as well. I know that you guys are like very time poor, so there are ways to schedule things as well. And one of the recommendations is, and one of the ways that I do it both for myself and for here at Peak, is I'll put aside a few hours to, like, so often for Peak I'll put aside Monday morning, 9 to 12. You don't need to do that because you're not posting for 11 entities, but like, you know, just an hour at the beginning of the day, beginning of the week, and an hour at the end, so you can schedule it, have it set up and ready to go.
What is that?
So there's an app called Hootsuite, which is a free app. And it's on the desktop, and you can literally just pop it in, pick your times, and it'll be ready to go.
So confusing.
Oh really? Oh, I can we'll spend some time at the end.
I'm not very tech person. I'm not a tech person.
But maybe at the end I'll pull up Hootsuite and just show you what it looks like to be able to schedule it. So you know we can do that. Yeah.
So is that redundant to the Back at You that you were speaking about earlier?
It's a little bit different, yeah. Sorry, Lisa's not here to talk to it as well. But like Back at You or Hootsuite, or whichever one you prefer.
Back at You is Peak's
version of it, yeah, yeah. And I mean, Back at You does the same thing. I mean, it's probably better if you've got listings and stuff. It just pulls it all in the one like place and location. But you know, the rest, you know, whichever platform you want to go with, basically. But yeah, and whichever one you choose, like. And this won't be our last like social media session as well. I mean, you guys are lucky you're a small group, so I definitely, if you're interested, I'd love to have one-on-ones with you guys and go through different platforms. But I just want to kind of, you know, do that.
Yeah, we'll call you.
Is Hootsuite Instagram friendly?
Yes, it is, which is good. We at Peak use Sprout, which is something I kind of inherited, but it's the same principle, but functionality is everything. Because if it's difficult and annoying, it's bad. But the good thing is that Back at You is very, very usable as well. Yeah, and it's not just putting up content, it's making sure that you're liking and sharing and commenting on other people's. I mean, one way you could all get started very quickly is if you're all on LinkedIn to like and follow each other, or if you're all on Instagram. And, you know, even if you're not on Instagram, you can make the commitment today.
It's all business, right? Not social.
Not
political thing or...
It depends on who you are. Because it's different for everyone, but I recommend people to have a blend of business and personal. I think if you just make it all business, people will know that you're up to something and trying to sell them something and will withdraw.
Not political.
I mean, if that's a huge part of who you are, I've got a friend who has devoted a lot of her life to being on the Hillary campaign trail, and there's all these videos of her on the internet, and she loves it. And her greatest possession is the picture of her and Hillary near her desk. So for her not to talk about politics would be like her not to be a person. So, you know, and I mean, but just know that political views will probably divide people. But if that's who you are, I mean, you've got to be who you are. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
you don't want to mix it for the business.
Yeah, I mean, it's like at a dinner party, right? You wouldn't lead
It's
with
very
that,
hard.
right?
In fact, these days, you don't know who they belong to, right?
True. Yeah, exactly.
Left or the right.
That's very true. And as an Australian coming to this country, I mean, politics is next level here, so I do, I do understand. It's been a learning curve. But I do actually recommend you be as authentic as possible in it. I mean, with regards to privacy as well. I mean, if you've got kids and you know, don't tell your home address, and you can put your kids on there, but just, you know, be mindful as you do, because like yeah, I mean, people are weird these days, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's a little bit about scheduling a time. And then my favorite thing with social media is you can track your success, and you can track your success immediately. So if something's not working, and I encourage you to, like, after this, like, get on there and give it a go. But like, you know, if things aren't working, call me and we'll go through it together, and we can look at like your previous posts and be like, okay, this one didn't perform that well. The amazing thing, this is more with Instagram for business, is it literally will tell you what time of day is better to post, what days are better, whether you're getting like male or female. It'll list out your top performing posts. And even if you didn't have that information, just from, it's a bit of an art more than a science, so you can feel which stuff is performing better and not. But I think that's important in any business, is to make sure it's trackable. And actually it can get kind of addictive, so watch out. I'm the worst at going, are my posts working? Is like, how come this many people didn't vote? Like, it can drive you a bit mad, so just keep an eye on it. So with LinkedIn in particular, so yeah, I would actually love the time to walk through this with you guys in detail. So if you, in the next week or something, would like to have a session to follow up, like we had a session that I think was helpful. But LinkedIn is a platform that doesn't have, it's not as active as some of the other ones. Like, there's only limited fields for you to fill in. So I just encourage you to fill in every single detail, and don't leave your profile empty or any bits unattended, because the more you're milking every single thing that you can change, the more you're getting out of it. So upload a recent professional headshot. There's just some basic things to watch out for. You don't want to have, like, you know, if you've got black hair against a black background, or, you know, just things that make you pop. And I think, you know, the reason Instagram works is it's a highly visual medium. In LinkedIn, that's apart from that and your cover photo, that's the only visual you're going to get. So you really want to invest in that and make sure it stands out. And, you know, maybe have a little bit of fun. Like, I know there's kind of like a set headshot smile, but maybe you want to relax it a bit, or maybe you want yours to be outdoors or something that reflects you. So every single touch point, try and amp it up so it reflects your personality. Write a headline that rocks and shows your personality. I think the hardest thing sometimes in a platform that appears to be more corporate is we kind of want to, like, lean into buzzwords or lean into our title and not who we are. And I think the more you can turn yourself into kind of like a corporate rock star, for the lack of a better word, the more you can kind of stand out in that way. So, you know, I think most people, you know, under a headline might just be like commercial agent, but you could be like commercial agent who likes to swim in the morning and, you know, be at dinner by night, or whatever you're into, like, you know, commercial agent that loves to talk politics at dinner. Not that, but give it something that shows your flair and shows who you are, because that's way more appealing than a job title. There is an option to, and it's hard to, like, grab little screen grabs of each of these, so we could absolutely walk through it another time, but there's an option to get a custom URL, which usually your first name, last name, it makes you more searchable. Just make sure you're taking advantage of that. Take the time to write a professional bio. Words matter so much and can convey so many different things, and I think the people who do well on Instagram and Facebook are the people who actually take the time not only to show the picture but to craft the words that go with it as well. So you know, we're in an era of storytelling, so try and just make sure that, you know, rather, it's very easy to kind of list achievements or, you know, tell chronological timeline of I worked here and then I worked there and I got this and I got that, but like who are you? If that can if you can find a way to really make that stand out, I think you really are able to own your space. This is something that not a lot of people know. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but you can add video and multimedia to your professional experience. I will. I'll send through a couple of links afterwards, and I think I've got a slide showing that as well. And you know, there's so much media and footage and videos that you can utilize. I mean, you could even. We released a video called "A Day in the Life" at like peak on Century 21's Facebook, and you could literally take that and put it into your professional experience, and it already looks on another level. So that one's a really good one. So this is kind of more into the nitty-gritty of your profile, but using numbers to enhance your career highlights. This is kind of jumping more into the resume builder sort of area, but rather than just be like, I worked at Peak and then I worked here. If you've got an achievement, if you're like, wow, I sold like a $3.5 million property, you guys' property is probably worth way more than that. But you know, if you're getting any achievement, make sure that you have the numbers in there to show that you really are performing. Yeah, we've talked about how words matter before, but I really think the biggest thing that I see on LinkedIn is people fall into like robot tone, like I am this person, I work here, I did this, I do that. And I think the more inviting and welcoming you are, and like we talked about passion before, if you can display your passion in here, like that, it will leap off the page or the screen. People it stands out and cuts through everything. So the same deal, we're just avoiding buzzwords and generality. So yeah, treat your profile like your resume, but you want it to really be like the absolute best version there, because so many people can see it and love it. So and then similarly, this is the beautiful thing of where platforms start to cross over. So if you're making little 1-minute videos, which is a great suggestion if you're jumping on any of the other platforms like Facebook or Instagram, pop your 1-minute videos into here, or I think over the page I've got, it's over the page, but yeah, why not be the creator and publisher of your own content? Just because you work for somewhere else doesn't mean that you can't be in charge of your own corporation and your information. I mean, how many people have we seen on YouTube and Instagram who've literally like made careers out of making short videos? Like, there's so many people, whether you're into spiritual stuff or into business or into this or that, there's like all these content creators who literally their job is content creation. So you know, you can have a full-time job and a part-time job. But it can really serve you and your career and your trajectory. So a couple of small little points. So using first person is beautiful when you're talking in your bio, etc. Making it personal, I've spoken about that. Showing your achievements and making sure you fill out all these other fields. So if you're doing volunteer work, have another language or other projects, like let people know. Because really you're building this online package of yourself. You just want to make sure you fill out all the pieces, otherwise you'll look a bit two-dimensional. So. Just going back actually, so who here's on LinkedIn? Like no pressure, like it's not. And who feels like confident with it, or who's like, oh, maybe I need to go back and look at my page?
I need to talk to you one-on-one. I'm not using it properly, I know
use it
that.
properly, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And is that more into like, but you've got like some basic resume stuff, but maybe you need to fine tune the words and stuff?
No, I haven't put my resume on there. It's a social thing, which I know I'm not using it the way it should be used.
Do you reach out to other people on there? Or?
I used to.
Yeah.
You're talking about LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I know.
you've got something up there, but it's not really.
I have it there, yeah. When I got the what do you call it? #1 commercial broker in 2016.
Yeah.
I printed it there.
Oh, cool.
I got a lot of response, but a lot of them were just socializing, you know. So.
But it's all good. It all helps, you know. Like.
Yeah, so I
But I
answered some.
know it benefit. You can get it can really benefit you if you use it properly. I know other people that use it properly and it does work.
Yeah. And
You have
sometimes
to
it can
be
just
on
take.
it every day. Yeah. Every day you have to be on it. Yeah. Like you said, commitment. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the thing I'd encourage you to do, and like this will be my promise to you, so if all of the, like I'll send this around and maybe make like a list, so if in the next week or so you get like a version of your resume ready, a version of your bio, a couple of things that you want to include, so maybe like respond to me, and then we'll book in like a certain time, because then I can like each walk you through like where you're at and where we can take it to. And maybe give you some ideas on like trying to come up with video and that type of thing as well. So
Okay.
yeah, that'd be really cool. But yeah, don't be afraid of it. I know that sounds like a lot of different things, so I didn't try and list them all out too much, but I think step by step it's very easy for us to adjust.
So you can show us what we should focus on.
Yeah.
So
And like
Yeah,
I think
it's fun.
our session was like just a quick kind of dip in session, but we kind of went through most sections and were like,
Yeah, you
it's gonna-
basically went through the front page and said,
Mhm.
just changes that needed to be made.
yeah, nice. Are you using it a bit more now? A little bit more? Getting there?
I updated it.
Yeah. yeah.
Not utilized.
No step. Well, I think also what can help is when, at least when you get it into your profile into a view that you kind of start going like, oh, cool, my profile looks appealing. I'll you know, and you get a bit more excited to use it that way as well, rather than if you're kind of like half unsure, you're less likely to put it out there. We've got 10 minutes. Is that right?
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. I think we're almost there. So that's kind of related to your profile. And this is more related to engagement and community building because it can be an amazing way to get an active network. You know, all those people who are socializing with you, they're out there doing it, trying to get people and make themselves more searchable and whatnot.
waste of time.
Yeah. So you want to request at least maybe one LinkedIn recommendation per month is what they suggest. But make it strategic. So rather than asking each of your colleagues, you know, in the next 7 days and then all having them from one place, you really want to have people from everywhere that show your skill and show what you've done. And maybe, you know, it's going back to old employers, and if there's something that you're looking to showcase in particular, like a strong recommendation from someone senior at a firm can really get people to be like, oh wow, this person's a mover and shaker.
2 to 3 per week.
Yes, it's doable though. But that's what I mean. If you just have if you schedule it in back in you, 3 posts, take you maybe an hour at most to schedule it, and pop them out during the week. And then all you've got to do, once they go live, is just reply and be like, "Thank you for congratulating me on my award," etc., etc.
They do. Yeah, they do.
They really respond. Yeah, and then just be careful to be picky on which recommendations that you do choose to show, because every single one of these things that I'm showing you, they're all branding, and it sounds finicky because I'm going through them one at a time, but they add up to a whole, and it can have a significant impact on that. So, and manage your endorsements. You should go to people and, if there's certain skills that you have, other people on LinkedIn can endorse them and make sure it looks like, and then if you have amazing people saying that you can do this, it looks amazing. Update your status often. So the stuff that we spoke about, having a content strategy, really using that to kind of make sure that you've always got stuff going on in there. And I just really think this is the biggest one. I think it's actually quite amazing because if you picture 5 to 10 years ago, there's no way you could be your own author or your own thought expert. There's no, unless you were one person plucked from obscurity in business and made to be on Shark Tank, no one would care what you're saying. And there's no way that you could be that person. But you can literally, from tomorrow, decide to be your own authority on whatever it is that you want to talk about. I think that's absolutely phenomenal. Even if you don't have the qualifications, if you do, you can choose to do it. So I think really play with that, whether it's writing a small, piece that could go in a magazine or an open letter, or just literally spending 60 seconds with your camera and sitting there, and maybe, it could be a really specific topic, it could be really broad, but why not play with it? I think it's fun, and you guys are all experts, so the platform's yours to take. Be a groupie in the kindest, most politically correct sense, the people who are socializing with you. There's lots of groups and associations. I'm not sure if the specific ones are in relation to commercial real estate, but there will be a number of groups where there'll be people and they'll be sharing thoughts and learning, so join them because you can meet other people, you can go to events, and it's a great way to network, and you can find you can add lots of connections through those groups. You can share your content in those groups so people know about your thought leadership. It's pretty amazing. And they say that you should have at least 50 connections, but make sure they're the right ones. You don't want to be, I've got it over here, you don't want to be adding people you don't know constantly, because LinkedIn can actually shut down your profile if you get rejected too many times.
500 plus.
I mean, that's so good. I have a feeling, Craig, you've got a decent network.
20,000 on LinkedIn.
Oh my god.
Wow, wow.
You know what I'm
5,000
saying?
on Facebook, that's the max. Then you do the business page and it's unlimited how many you got.
And do you find it helpful?
Yes. Facebook, I used to just use for business. But once I just like, my wife would do posts and I would share them, whatever.
Oh,
But it's
cute.
like, so, you know, people I haven't talked to forever, or, you know, just met at a conference or whatever, they'd be like, oh yeah, my daughter, she goes to that school, you know, so you got to share part of yourself. And the
Yes.
people that you're talking about that are about on the social, if you're adding the right people and they're investors, business owners, and other brokers, even if it's social now, it's a way to build a relationship so that next year when they want to sell something, they keep you in mind. So that's how you use it. Is that it can be social now, but if they know you're the commercial person in Southern California, because I have brokers all over the country, and I don't get that many actual investors saying, hey, but I get a lot of referrals
Yeah,
from
right.
agents, even if it's a residential agent in Texas. They got a client here in Southern California and a commercial, I get the referral. Yeah.
And I mean, once it's set up, it's coming to you, right?
Yeah.
You're not having to do anything. And you strike me as a busy person, but you've found a way to balance and find a way time to send posts. Can you talk
Yeah.
to us a little bit about that, or like?
Well, I always post what is most, like right now, I'm posting for recruiting
Yep.
because I have thousands and hundreds of other agents and I want them to come to work for me here. So I'm posting recruiting
Yeah,
posts.
nice. Yeah.
So basically, whatever, you know, it's like when I'm trying to push my property management, that's what I post is I'll do articles about, you know, just something simple like, what's the difference between asset management and property management? And I put one of our brochures and I answer, you know, just you make yourself look like the expert, but it's also a way for whatever you want to push, like if it's your new listing, but it can't, like you said, it can't just be business all the time. They have to know that you're a real person, that you do the same thing. I mean, when I got a new car, I put it on there and it's like I get
People love
every
that
guy
one.
like, oh, that's my dream car. And all, you know,
I
so
bet,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then they feel like they're part of your journey. It's
Right.
pretty amazing. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. But that's an amazing network to have. And I'm sure you just cultivate it as you've gone along, right? Like just
Took like 10 since, you know, not after long after they really got popular, but yeah, 10, 12 years.
yeah, but sounds like it's worth it.
So Facebook works for you than LinkedIn?
If you use Facebook for business, like I don't have a bunch of teenagers on there. I have their moms. I have brokers. I have investors. I have directors of real estate. I have, you know, the same people I have on LinkedIn. I have on Facebook. But it's a lot of realtors. Realtors all over the country can send you referrals, even residential realtors, because a lot of them, they don't have commercial in their agency, or they don't know a commercial person here in California, so they'll refer you business.
Okay, we have a Facebook personal or Facebook business. Is that correct? Or
You can
use
have
it
both,
too?
so you're going to have Facebook personal regardless, because you can't open a business
I have
page
an
without
account,
it.
yeah, but it's personal.
Yeah,
So-
but I would recommend to start a Facebook business page as well.
Yeah, I was talking to Lisa about that, back to you, because they told
Yep.
me it is expired. I said, I didn't even know I have that, you know?
But we can get that up and running, and then we can give you a bit of an idea about what to post on all
I'll
three
work
of them.
with
So,
you, yeah, why
yeah,
not? Yeah.
sounds great.
I
Sounds
like
great.
your accent too.
Oh, thanks. Things I get for free, you know. I love that. So yeah, build. You know, obviously, you want to have over 500 connections is like an idea. Like that's when you start signaling to people like you're a bit of a mover and a shaker and a person to know. I mean, Craig, that's like.
I
insane.
like the referrals, huh? If you get referrals, yes.
Yeah, and get your business to work for you, so you're not running around chasing these referrals. They're just coming straight to
Well,
you.
so the other commercial site like LoopNet and all that. So yesterday I got a referral from Chicago.
Yeah.
So the guy's flying over to look at one of my facilities, which is good, you know. So
Great, it's awesome.
it's like the mafia.
It's
He's gonna pay cash. He said he's gonna pay cash. So I said,
Okay, sure.
I hope so.
Clean the money first. And reach out to people from your past appropriately. Like we've all had lives before here, but like you know, people in your past often want to, and that's what the best thing about Facebook is. I mean, or any social networking, we're all super busy, but you can still feel like you're in touch with people from
The
long
past.
times ago. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a very
A lot of
sweet
them,
thing
yeah.
of it. Yeah, it's very cool. The more connections you have, it means you also show up in other people's searches. And there is actually, I don't think this is well known as well, but there's an alumni feature. So if you went to a particular college, which
In
is
your
very
college
big,
days,
you can
yes.
connect with all of them as
Yes,
well.
you find that, yeah.
Yeah. So that was, and this, I thought this was a nice way to end it. So be a brand ambassador. Having an impressive profile provides brand value, especially when everyone in your company does it. So collective effort is a great thing. When you choose your company from LinkedIn list for your current experience, you automatically become a follower of the company page. As a brand ambassador, your job is to share relevant content, such as posts made by your company's communications on their page, and pass these along to your connections and appropriate groups. You amplify the visibility of those messages and show your commitment to your employer. So I loved that because it was just like, I know like you might not be using these like right now, but like we can make a commitment together today and really help each other. I mean, if we do it as a group, if you're liking and sharing each other's things, you'll start a groundswell that's like way better if you did it on your own. And together, like across all your different profiles, you can create something amazing for your brand. So yeah, so I will send this around and I'll send a couple of little homework pieces for you to do, but please reach out to me in the next 2 weeks and let's do it as a group. Let's make it happen. How's that sound?
All right.
Thank you very
Cool.
much.
Very
No
nice.
worries, of course. Thank you guys.
Well,
Thanks for
take
being
your
here.
time.